Ruseas Empowerment Live session. And today we want to talk with a very interesting individual. And the reason we talk to this very interesting individual is that he has a very interesting story to tell. And as we go through the paces, I hope you find it interesting as well as I did. And we want to ensure that you sit back, relax, and enjoy another session of the Ruseas BrotherSister Empowerment Hour. Well, today we want to welcome with you. I had a very fine and very good conversation with a young man who I never met him before. And by talking to this gentleman, it was very intriguing. And his responses to the conversation, his dialogue was very interesting. And I said, you know what, I have to share it with you today. So none other than another stalwart of the Ruseas family, Dennis Jumpp. Dennis, how are you today? Welcome to the Ruseas BrotherSister family. How are you?
Fine, Darwin. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for asking. I've never had the yes, go ahead, sorry.
And the Ruseas BrotherSister Empowerment session.
It's a pleasure to have you. A pleasure to have you here, And I've never had the opportunity of meeting you in person. So I wanted to create that environment where we, by having a conversation with you, if we could have time, we could travel through time and to, use the words to get to know each other some more. And that conversation we had was very interesting. And that is why we wanted to have you on today, because it's a special day today. It's very special to me because someone actually reminded me that it was my birthday today. So we want to help you to express yourself and let persons who may not know you and may feel the way I do, that they never met you before, but yet they went to the same school like you. And they are waiting to meet you too with your words. So introduce yourself to Ruseas BrotherSister.
Good evening again, Ruseas BrotherSister family. I'm Dennis Jumpp, a member of the 1990, captain on the 91-92 BrotherSister Cup team. Winner also of the Oliver Shield, Ben Francis, and BrotherSister Cup in 1992, one of the only in 30 years now. Thanks for having me, Darwin.
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment for you. And you've always wanted that all your life. However, all this glory that you enjoyed in 1991, 92, 1990, that's you were part of a team that created history. And as history would have it documented, your name is there. It is no mistaken. But this started a very long time ago. There was a dream for you to be in this picture where history have you now.
Now, sorry about.
Yes. Can you tell us, talk to us about where did this dream started?
Well, this dream actually started when I can't remember far back as maybe about 85, thereabout, seeing like Bentley Brown, Glasswing, those are guys from the community, and just walking home in the evening or even going down to the street to watch the Ruseas team pass after a win. Really, so those were some of the inspiration that had brought me here at Ruseas.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So you started playing football at a young age. So by seeing these things, Ruseas bus passing by, the dreams come, the fascination to be like these players, because Glasgow Brevet was well decorated, very fair defender, and Kokoti, very skillful footballer too. So for you to want to be like these gentlemen, you are in good company. So you should feel proud of yourself.
Yes, it was very encouraging. And you see, one other thing is that the corner league that we played in Hopewell,
Yes.
as a youngster, I was privileged to be on a team with a Bentley Brown, Central United, you know, as a youngster. So having those inspirations, you know, it makes me want to go where all of that been happening for them.
Yes.
You know, so my journey starts when I failed 2 common entrance exams.
Wow.
And my next exam was it was called technical entrance. That would have taken me to either Herbert Morrison or STEX, St. Elizabeth Technical.
Oh, technical school. Okay.
The one that I was placed at, but I wanted to go to Ruseas based on what I've seen before, you know. So I asked for a transfer for Ruseas. So hence that.
So early in your life, you had stumbling blocks already. So, you know, you're looking at life from a different perspective. You know, I want to become good. I want to become great someday. I want to have my name being mentioned, you know, maybe in the newspapers, on the TV, wherever. And, you know, but you failed your exam twice. So that didn't stop you. What did you do?
You know, funny, even taking the exam itself, that was a challenge.
Yes.
After taking common entrance twice and failed.
Yes.
Technical entrance.
Yes.
For a reason or the other, find my birth certificate.
Yes. That's an interesting one.
My birth certificate just went missing. So all the registration was done, and I was hoping that I could find my birth certificate after looking vigorously for time, you know.
Yes.
Find it. And my teacher at the time, Miss Moncrief, she said, Dennis, I'm not sure what will happen. What I will do, I'll register and I'll send it. And when she sent the registration in, they sent back for me to find birth certificate in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And for 2 weeks, upside down, I turned the house, trying to find it. Still couldn't.
Can't find the birth certificate.
She had to send in back the registration without a birth certificate.
Wow. So they registered you to do the exam without the birth certificate after 2 weeks.
Which is unheard of.
I mean, talking about challenges early.
And it was a week, maybe about a week after the given date.
Yes.
And the timetables out. And when the timetables came up,
yes,
Miss Moncrief called me and said, Dennis,
so you were not expecting a timetable because you didn't send your birth certificate in.
I have a birth certificate, so I won't give it. You know?
Yes.
There, I looked at the skies and I said, Mama, money can't waste now.
Yes.
You know, because other challenges had led me to say that, you know, because she was the one.
Yes.
I grew up with, not without a mother or a father, but I grew up with my grandmother and grandfather. And it was challenging, so to speak, based on her seasonal job. Yeah. So
right.
that in and of itself was a challenge. But
Yes.
her faith in God
Yes.
and how she brought we up, we persevere.
Yes, because suffice to say this, that you mentioned that you didn't have mom and dad presently in the home with you, but you had loving and caring grandparents, grandfather and grandmother. So a lot of us grew up in Jamaica like that, with grandparents, because maybe mother and father had to go to find greener pastures to take care of us. So you are just one of those children. So you were thinking now, okay, maybe it's just normal. So you keep trotting on, and what happened after that? You said, listen, I can't afford to let my grandma money burn up now. Mr. Moncrief is relying on me.
And upon successfully completing that exam,
yes,
one story, there was this female in the class that
yes.
I take a,
Okay.
and she told for us to be together.
Yes.
We would have to St. Elizabeth together. We would have to be that But after successfully completing the exam, I was so much indulging Ruseas.
Yes.
I asked my father to see how much he could facilitate a transfer for me. And that being successful, that's how I entered Ruseas.
So through your father?
Yes, it was a transfer from St. Elizabeth.
Yes.
Persons that knew at the time helped to facilitate the transfer.
Right. And it went through. So you went to Ruseas. But how did you feel about that? Your father, yes.
But it was great that he came up for me at that point, because that was one of my desire to go to Ruseas.
Yes.
And he helped to facilitate that. So that was good for me and good for him in and of itself.
Yes. Because you mentioned that even though he wasn't there with you throughout your entire, upbringing, but he was always around, but not directly involved with you as you would have liked. But that motivated you a lot.
Correct. Because it has taught me that things won't always come the way you want it.
Yes.
And there are things that you will have to work for. Whatever.
Yes.
It reminds me of the saying that mother have, father have, but God bless the child that has its own.
That has its own. Yes. I grew up listening to that a lot. So your father came up big for you then, and he got the transfer through. Now you're a Russian. How was that experience being welcome at Ruseas? Matter of fact, what age were you when you went to Ruseas?
I entered Ruseas at 8th grade. I was 30.
Good. 40, 13, 40, yes, okay.
Yeah. That was 1987.
Yes.
Yeah.
How was it though? Did they welcome you? What was it like? Because you had your plans on this female at St. Elizabeth Technical that's waiting for you over there, but now you're at Ruseas.
You see, plans for St. Elizabeth Technical, you see, after hearing the whole notion about grubbing and what they were to do, and it was a part of the school system. Based on my upbringing, I knew right there and then my temperament wouldn't complete a school year there.
Right.
That was one of the reasons also. Because I don't think I'll be able to take 30 cents to buy something that costs 90 cents. And then to take my and to stand on a classroom desk to blow out a bulb.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't tolerate that.
Yes, yes.
What
So, but mhm,
was in and of itself a joy because I could be able to go to school and come back home and get a home
yes,
cooked meal.
yes. Wow, that's lovely. That's lovely. But even though you talk about the St. Elizabeth Technical grubbing experience, you still wasn't, you've never gone there, so you didn't know if it was for real. So you didn't have any evidence to prove that. So you just let it go. You say, you know what, Ruseas is where I'm heading. Ruseas, here I am. The rest is history. Now you're a Russian. You enter the 8th grade. Now, guys are, yeah.
But I had first and not first hand experience, but information, so to speak, because
Yeah.
there was a 10th grader from States
Oh,
that
yes.
was not my best friend,
Yeah.
and she told me that's how it is, and it's just a
Instead.
part of the school system. So you
Okay.
can still do it when and even
Right,
more when
right.
time you're nine, more time to do it. But that's
Yes.
not part.
You're not in any grubbing. So you started, so when you get into 8th grade, were you interested in playing football at that time, or were you just academics?
All right, getting into Ruseas as having my challenges outside of
Yes.
school. Football was more like a therapy for me,
Ah,
and that would make me gravitate towards playing it anyways. You know,
interesting.
to I may not have balanced it so much as I should have, but I was able to balance it, and it helps me.
Yes,
Understand?
yes, yes,
Achieve one point and playing the game that I really love, that really
yes.
stood some part of me growing up.
Right, right. Because you had that, you know, the fun, you have two objectives, the fun part of you didn't have that fun part too much. You just was bent on, listen, I have to get my grades up because you stumbled at common entrance twice. You have to prove to these people that you can do it. Now you got a place in Ruseas. You have to make sure you cement yourself in there before you start thinking about anything else. So you play some football, kick the ball around a little bit, just do it for fun, to relax your mind a little bit because you have a lot of pressure. So now, what's next? You're at Ruseas now. You're settling in. Everybody accept you. You're a regular student now.
That was when I think I was overindulged
Yes,
and start figuring that this is it. Just
yes,
play football, and I was straying from my grades. And so at ninth grade, I realized that this is where decisions are made. You know,
yes,
the discussions with a couple of teachers, I realized that ninth grade is where decisions are made. And so
yes.
whatever I do, or whatever I'm desirous of doing, you
Right,
know,
right.
what ninth grade, because that 10th grade where you have your career starts.
Yes, that's right. So, at what year did you start to play football in Ruseas then?
My very first year, when I got to Ruseas, I played under 14.
Good, good.
Started under 14 and figuring that I would start the very first game, and maybe about a day or two before that,
Yes,
I'll came into the team.
yes.
I was resorted to the bench, but we played a game. We lost that game. I think we played 2 more games. But from under 14, I played under 16 just 1 year. And in 1990, I went to the B Cup camp.
1990, big times, big boys. Now it's time to roll the ball now.
Centipede, Ziri, Bones,
Centipede, Ziri,
Roy
Bones,
Beckford,
Bozo, Roy Beckford,
Alco,
yes,
Freddie
yes,
Smith.
yes. Alco, Freddie Smith, very dangerous baller. On the ball, he's terrible. I've seen him play a few times. So you played with Alco?
Bozo also.
Bozo, yes.
Alco 91.
Yes.
I got 1 game in 1990.
So 1990, Centipede was a captain.
Funny enough, you know, 1990 Centipede was a captain. That was my first year.
Yes.
And did some practice matches. I didn't play 1 game. I didn't play a game in practice match.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But after the squad was cut, I was always in the squad. I got my first game at Stets.
Yes, interesting. Yeah.
This 1 game. We played at Stets. That was my first game. I think it was against Titchfield or somewhere thereabout.
Okay.
But that was the game. Other games, I sit on the bench and watch the games. You know, even when we played the Oliver Shield at Stadium. Yeah.
Wow.
Was on the bench. But 1991 now. That was my first year as captain.
Yes.
It wasn't so much of a successful year for Ruseas, and it wasn't for me myself. Yeah. It was one of the disappointing years. But
well, you're young, so you're learning. You know, you win some, you lose some.
Because when 1991, when I came to camp, and they said to me, you know, coach is checking for you, you know. And I was like, me? And they said, yeah, coach is checking for you. When I went around there and coach gathered us together, and he gave me the key for the lunchroom. So I know that those are some responsibilities you normally assigned to captains or so. So periodically I might think that that's a responsibility it's giving me, but at the same time I just do my normal duties. I'm just one of the other players.
Yes, of course.
Captain, when we went to play the first game in Kingston. We played against Froome. Yeah. And Darwin, to tell you, I had a toothache from about Tuesday. And I was saying it to coach, that coach, I think I need to extract this tooth. And he was saying to Jumpp, that we'll have to wait until it's done. And I said, so that's Monday next week, you know.
Yeah.
But
toothache is serious.
And when we journeyed to Kingston, Darwin, from about, I think it was the west, but straight up until the Friday night, I had a toothache.
Yes.
Straight up until till game time, I had a toothache.
Whew. That's a lot of pain.
But our first game, yeah.
That's a toothache is a lot of pain. Painful thing, toothache.
You know, I tell you this. One lady said, and she was,
And when she was crying, I sat beside her and I was feeling my own pain because I had a toothache. Man, I have 3 pitney. I'm not feeling my pain here. So right there and then, what kind of pain me I feel?
Yeah,
You know? And she said, this pain she hadn't felt before. So I was saying, because I heard people say baby pain hot. So I said, if she feel this pain now, and I'm feeling this pain, that means baby pain and no pain. Toothache and the hottest pain.
Yeah, toothache is a hot. Yeah. So you did that game? Did you guys win that game in the stadium?
2-0 at the National Stadium against Froome.
Okay. You're okay. You remember who scored? You had Bones on the team, you had players like younger players. You remember who was playing on that team with you at that time?
That team had Howard Fraser in the goal, myself and Colin playing center half, along with, I think, Kalicher and Leslie played that first game. Steve Edwards playing right back. And I don't remember who was playing left back.
Yes.
Randy Campbell was in that team also. Yes, Freddie Smith, Bourne, Roy Beckford as senior players also.
Was Lara Bag on that team too?
91. Yes. God Palmer was on that team, 91.
Yes.
God Palmer, Randy Campbell was the striker at that time.
Yes, there you are. Yes.
To say that was a disappointing year.
Yes.
It was because of my second game. I think it was against Herbert Morrison. We failed miserably.
Yes.
We got 4-0.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 4-0. I contributed to 2 penalties. Not something that I'm proud of, but I have to take responsibility for those.
Of course.
Yeah. But I thought at that time I got a raw deal from the referee.
The referee. Everybody get that when the ref blow against them. Every player think that.
But we had to take one. And then now the next game that really think our ship was the game against Cornwall.
Yes.
I scored on myself.
Oh.
Yeah, Bones, that's Brian Hill.
Right, yes.
He scored a sub corner. It was a corner kick that he scored.
Yes.
Yeah. And
that's one of his specialties. He's good like that.
Yes, he's great like that. And hated for it, you know. But upon the kickoff, a ball was played over. I was playing the sweeper role.
Yes.
And this guy, his name is Carter, playing for Cornwall. Yes. Bulky guy, has a lot of speed, but that wasn't anything to scare me or anything like that, you know. But when based on my experience, I wanted to play the ball away from the goal. So upon glance, I didn't see the keeper move from so I opted to play it across the field now. That's when I took my eyes off the ball, trying to shield the player from going around. And when I swing to play the You hear?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, man. When I swing to play the ball across,
Yes.
I don't familiar with the pitch at Cornwall College. It's nothing like what we had at Ruseas.
Yes, it's dirt.
Cross they had there. Yeah. Not blaming the feel or anything, but that's what happened. You know,
Yeah.
taking my eye off the different going around me. Swinging
Yes.
was the 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 throw line to kick the ball.
Yes.
The ball right one of those grassroots. So when I swing,
Yes.
it hit the side of my that was the time
Oh,
coming out of the goal.
yes.
I saw the beauties. But it was against my side.
Yeah, that's not a
You
good
know,
experience.
good experience. But all in all, I thought that was one of my better games that I've played.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, based even though that kind of pressure came on me,
Yes, yes,
it it didn't make me succumb to anything else. You know,
yes,
yeah, I played a very beautiful game that day. It
yes.
ended up words were exchanged. You know, maybe a couple of fists could have been thrown because Bones, that's Brian took offense to the own goal
Of
that
course,
canceled
of
it.
course. Yes,
I understand, but
yes.
is is offering to me will I, no, I would have to defend myself, but if you try to do
Yeah, but
that,
when you play football, these things happen. The forward score the goal, the defender, earn goal or cause a penalty, and these things. Let me tell you, it hurts, and tempers flare, but you can't get it personal. That's part of the game. But did you guys win that game though, or you lose?
we lost that game 2-1.
Okay,
And
okay.
I caused it.
Yes, yes,
We to the second round.
yes.
We didn't make it. So 91 was ended as a disappointed year for us.
Okay, okay.
Then comes the 92 season. But in between that time, I had subjects also. So
Yes, I wanted to talk about that because after the football, there's academics in between. So I want to see how you balance all that to get balance in the school. Yeah.
in fact, in 91, if we should go back a little bit, in 91, when we did a mock exam for accounts, Mr. Campbell was the accounting teacher at the time.
Yes.
And when he saw my grade, he didn't approach me. He sent Mr. Edwards. Mr.
Yes.
Edwards was newly appointed, and he was the principal of business teacher.
Yes.
So he taught me principal of business also. So that it was at the POB class that he approached me and said to me, Jumpp, your accounts teacher had said something to me, and he was concerned, and he had asked me to find out from you what's happening.
Yes.
I failed terribly in that accounts mock exam based on some information that I got pertaining to pregnancy occurring, and I was like, for something like that, and so that has caused a stress on me, because I wasn't prepared for that. To be frank, I wasn't prepared.
Yes.
So that knocked me out of the ballpark. I could a pregnant woman in front of me when I was doing the exam, you know. So I was thrown off.
Yes.
And I was recommended for EC at the time, based on the fact that I failed the CXC bachelor 20. Yeah, I'm in first year. I was recommended for GCE.
Yes.
I was recommending for G. It's a case where I rebound, you know.
Yes.
I got it in myself, so to speak. Let me try this. Yeah. So
Because even though you yes. Go ahead, continue.
92, I started 92 with at least 2 subjects going into 92.
Okay. So you play football, but you're still trying to stay with your academics because you had your struggle that you grew up with, and you can't let these people down. You have to stay focused on because you did, even though you're playing football, you still did not see football as your way out. You still wanted to get something in your head because you're thinking about, you're always thinking about your father wasn't there, but you want to make sure that you are making a difference. So you're thinking, I have to get my education. This is what I'm here for, not to play football. But you play football just to balance yourself anyway.
Yes. Playing football then, as I say, it was more of a therapy for me because I wasn't to have that everyday full lunch course or fare to school and back and all of that.
Struggles.
But there were struggles. I tried not to make that be any excuses. And I would say with the help of the Lord, I met friends who care for me like that and understand what's and it was smooth sailing, so to speak, in the sense of me going to school, but thinking about the struggles and knowing what's present, then that in and of itself was something that I had to deal with.
Right, because you told me that you saw Glasgow Brevet sixth form in white shirt. They play football, they're successful, but yet they're brilliant. You saw Centipede, he's a captain, he's a sixth former, he captain the football team, but yet he's at academia. So you said to yourself, hey, no, I have to get my education up.
Yes, man. And I tried telling the other guys that, listen, in 92, I said to the guys that, listen up, we're not going to be the footballers on the corridor.
Yes.
We're not going to be like that.
No.
We're going to be the footballers in class.
Yes, sir.
Whatever it is, just remain in class.
Yes. Be present.
To an interest that you're willing to learn.
Yes.
With
Absolutely.
the help of O'Connor and others, we the other guys who just would have just thought that I forgot class, and so the encouragement that we spread, everybody, listen, I'm going to stay in class, and so you wouldn't have find that out on the corridors.
Right.
Yeah. And Miss Crossman was extremely proud of that.
Yes, good. So you had the principal, Mrs. Crossman, you had a very good relationship.
We did. We did. Based on how her desire of running the school, and we as footballers, the reputation that precedes us, we want to make sure that there's a difference. You know, we let the reputation that was there before be in front of us and be guiding us. You know, there are stuff that happened before, like Centipede being a sixth farmer, and Laswin Griffiths and all of those guys before who had done well. You know, those are things that we took and said, listen, you have guys who do it before and you have guys who didn't, but we are doing it just like the guys who do it before.
Yes.
And so 1992,
yes,
a set of footballers who were interested in doing our schoolwork.
Yes, awesome. And you were the driving force, even though you're captain on the field, but you're also a marshal in the school talking to your players. Say, listen, stay in class, because we want to be the guys who, when we leave school, there's a life after football. Even though some might want to become professional footballers, but you have to know after football, 33, 34, your life begins, real life starts. So you're preparing them for that. That's awesome of you.
What I've learned during even my PLB classes is about delegating responsibilities.
Yes.
You know, and so I won't even take all the accolades for the success that the 1992 team had, in the sense of us being friendly towards education, but
yes.
It was a cohesive effort. Andrew O'Connor, myself, and Sewell, Randy Campbell, Fogarty, we try to involve everyone to let them understand that we need to do this. It's not for anybody else, ourselves.
Yes.
And guys, we did well.
And this 92 team, you won the Olivier Shield.
We won Dacosta Cup, Ben Francis Cup, and Oliver Shield.
All three, no sharing.
No, everything was. Yeah. And for the past, it's an awesome feeling based on the fact that you can remember the days when we've been tiling, you know, trying to make sure that we got it right. Remember things that coach had taught us, you know, and applying them, you know. And
you didn't win anything the year before you got knocked out. So this year you came back rejuvenated. You took everything. After losing anything, now you won everything.
Everything. You know, 1990, they set a pace, and then we just threw everything away in 91. And so that was so much of a disappointment. And so we had to work even harder in 92.
Hard.
Remember,
who was the coach? Who was the coach at that time with in 92?
92, it was Mr. Henry and Mr. Williams. Anthony Fallis.
Anthony Fallis. Is there anything that the coach, Mr. Henry, tell you that you cannot forget?
Is there anything that he told me that I can remember?
Yeah, you will never forget that as long as you live. You're always going to remember that. It stays with you.
Yes. He told me that, even case in point, in 1990, I took my bedding and down to the PE room, sports room, and I said to Mr. Henry that, Mr. Henry, you know that I don't think this is for me. I think it's best that I go home and study from home, because they're stealing things from me and I'm not getting the rest that I think I should get. me that, listen, see, I can understand all that you said. But giving up now would show that you never really want to do what you want to do.
Yes, yes.
Understand? You have to persevere with all odds.
Yes, yes.
There's,
Perseverance.
so he taught me how to persevere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you went through school, you got your accolades. Now you get to be you're going to become a man now after school now. You're 25 years old. What happened?
Okay. After working on, yeah, my first job was a merchandising job.
Yes.
Mr. Williams had assist me with getting that job. A merchandising job with Ebert Aliman's wife,
Yes.
Coach Ebert Aliman, his wife, was working with Johnson and Johnson. That was my first job. Then from there, I went to working as a night auditor in Negril.
Yes.
That was when I just left school. It was my first year after school. I started the job as a merchandiser. I didn't stay there for long. I went to do the night auditing work. But during that time, I was doing some training with Kickers Football Club. Yeah. And while training with Kickers, I got the job in Negril. After sending the application, I got the job. So I decided that, listen, this is what I'm going to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course, of course.
Kickers, I asked, I think his name was Pepe or something like that. I tried getting a job at the airport, but I wasn't successful in getting that.
Yeah.
You know, and after having
Yes.
this interview in Negril, okay, but at Negril and the time that I had to work, leaving from night auditing to front desk, and then work 11 o'clock to get a drive to Hopewell, it was a bit challenging. I have to be sitting in Lucy on the chain at the Texaco gas station.
I know that. Yes.
Waiting for a ride. Most times I get a ride, it's when a bus going to Kingston. Like 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning. That's when I will get a ride to come to Woodford, and I have to reach back to Negril 7 o'clock in the morning for front desk.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That was. And after playing Super Cup with Kickers during that time, or just before that time, Mr. Gillette was the coach for Kickers at the time.
Yes.
Kickers we went on to win the National League that same year.
Yes.
With me and Scarlett, Boopy in the goal. You have Catfish, Tupper, Whitmore.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a mix for the Kickers team. But I didn't continue. Mr. Gillette saw me on St. James's Street. I was on one side and he was on the other side, and he yelled at me, "Jump!" And I stopped, and he came over and said, "What happened? Why you not coming to training?" I told him that I got a job in Negril. So he said, "So you didn't express that to any of us that you need a job?" I said, "Yes, I did, but at the time it didn't came through. This one came through, so I was stupid."
Yes, yes.
But he didn't know that I at that time I was just playing football for just to relieve some stress.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know,
But you see,
I
you were very
wasn't
close. You were very close with your grandmother all these times, all these years.
all, you know, going to work. All these works that I told you about, each time I get my pay, she's the first person that get something from my paycheck.
Wow.
And
Wow.
let me tell you how. When I failed my two first common entrance exam, I wanted to do technical entrance. I was promised that the lesson fees would be paid. However, on the morning, on the September morning, when I went to get that money
Yes.
from my father, he told me that he didn't have it at the time.
Right.
Irrespective of the fact that he didn't have it, I didn't stop to think why, but I was
Yes.
I was so full. For whatever reason, and as a parent, I get to understand that things do happen, you know. And he told me
Yes,
at that
of
time
course.
that we couldn't deal with it.
Yes.
I was so disappointed that
But but then, you're doing all these things and you're making it comfortable for your grandmother.
would just burst me like a balloon, you know. I started running tears all over, and I tried to contain myself before I go back to my grandmother. Yeah,
That's when
and
that's when she died.
when I went back to my grandmother and I told her that I didn't get it, she looked at the skies and she said, God will take. So tell the technical. I started working in December. I remember this before she died. That's when I started taking lessons for technical entrance. She
Yes.
promised to pay Miss Moncrief in the arrears from September to December. I'd suggest that I was actually a good thing, but that wasn't where I was looking at the time. Because he was referring to Merlin Attic. That school was just it's a technical entrance school, the technical school. Oh, you know what?
Yes, I remember Merlin Ati High. Yeah, I remember that school.
Yeah, that school was newly built, and he was saying that I'll just let you go over that school and learn a trade. But that wasn't the desire of my grandmother, and she didn't see me in that. She saw me as somebody working at the bank. That's what she told me.
Yes, she saw you with great potential, and you had this hope build up that, you love your grandma, your whole world, your whole future was built up, around your grandmother. But then she, something happened.
At age 25, you see,
Yes.
I remember sitting out just out by the end of the road, and I saw my grandmother coming out, and she said I yelled to her and said, Mama, where are you going? And she said she'll go up the road. She just get something up at the shop. And she's strong, hearty. I didn't know of any ailments or anything like that.
Yes.
And she went to the shop and she came back and everything. It was about 9 o'clock in the night, because the next day would have been my 25th birthday.
Yes.
This was the of March 1999. And I came out of the shower and I heard my brother calling me. And when I answered, he said to me, he said, Mama take sick.
Yes.
And I said, oh, how Mama take sick? I saw her earlier today and she was fine. He said, yeah, Mama take sick. I already put on some clothes and take some money from out of her drawer. And I went down there and realized that she was really sick. Came back and I asked my father for the car. He said something was wrong with the car, and so I proceeded to get a chartered car.
Yes.
Came back, we get our grandmother on our way to the hospital.
Yes. So your grandmother passing, that you were devastated. You feel like, you know, your world it's all over for you.
Yes. When we got to the hospital, we got one of the roller beds, took her in, and I saw a nurse coming our way, and I asked her to check with my grandmother for me. And when she used the trumpet and sound her, she said her first response was, "Which funeral parlor you want her to go?"
Are you? Wow.
I was so devastated. I said, "It's all right." I saw another nurse and I said, "Miss, come here. Check that lady here for me." And when she checked her, she said to me, "Son, who is her to you?" And I told her that she's my grandmother. And she said, "I'm sorry to tell you, she has passed."
Wow.
That was my 25th birthday present. I got it on the 6th of March. My birthday was on the 7th.
Wow.
Now when I came home, not feeling well, I decided that I would get myself some tea. I put the kettle on the fire, on the stove.
Yes.
And it was my fiance who came out, and after the place was in smoke.
Wow.
Because the handle on the kettle started melting, become like a steel, little round balls in the kettle.
Yes, and you were standing right there.
And I was standing right at the stove.
Wow.
I was out of it.
Wow.
Right.
So you're lucky. So you're lucky someone was there with you, else probably would have been more disastrous. So you took your grandmother's death really, really hard.
Yes, that was really hard for me.
Yes, yes. But knowing you,
Well, say again?
I said knowing you, because based on your past, you've had obstacles before.
I've learned to persevere, and so
yes, yes.
Yeah, so I had to persevere.
Yes.
And so I had to move on from that.
Yes. And what put you to that peak now was when, you know, your daughter, Emily, came in the picture now. Let's talk about Emily for a moment.
Okay. That's a joy. That's my joy. That's my joy.
Well, of course, because, you know, we want to, you know, of course, you had your grandma passed away, you know, you were devastated, you know.
You're want hearing to feel me clearly, right?
I'm hearing you now. Sometimes it goes, but I'm hearing you now. You're fine.
Okay. Go ahead with the question.
I'm saying now, you were devastated after your grandma's passing. So knowing you with the kind of personality you are, you're persevering, you're not giving up. So now here comes Emily.
And yes,
And you know that name derived from me hearing my grandmother always making the utterance that, you know, my mother Emily, you know, that's her thought. So
Yes.
I thought that this is the name I'm gonna give my daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
To keep your
That's
grandmother's
how
spirits alive.
keeping that spirit alive.
Wow. Wow.
And she has kept my spirit alive now. You
Yes.
know. Yeah.
So how old is Emily now?
Emily's now 13.
But
On
you
the
told
20th
me that she's very brilliant. She's a brilliant child.
Yes, she was successful in the first sitting on the PEP. She
Oh
she
yeah, yes.
actually she was the second. She had the second high score in PEP, and also received a government scholarship.
Wow.
She attends Immaculate Conception.
Yes. Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. So now you see, Emily, your grandmother didn't really die. She is living inside of your daughter now, achieving, making you feel much better so you can lift your spirits up. Now, as we wrap up, I want to talk about just, on a few more, maybe another 2 minutes. You have any of the players you played with that you wanted to say, like, anything you want to say to them, because of you've been to Ruseas, you're a stalwart there before, you've had this success there, you've had disappointments, your daughter is bringing you some joy now, you're accomplished, you're making yourself better. Your current job that you do, you want to talk about that for a little bit, and then we talk about what you want to say to those younger kids at Ruseas, and then we wrap it up.
My current job is a postmaster. I'm a postmaster. Based on the new reclassification exercise that's been done to bring us on par with other government agencies,
Yes.
there has been a name change from postmaster to now branch manager, of which I am a branch manager now. I started out at general delivery. When you would come into the post office and call for a mail, I would be right there serving them. That's where I started out and climbed the ranks. And now I'm a postmaster. It's
So, yes.
a job that it's a service-oriented job. And I like the idea of serving, you know?
Yes, you're
and
a public servant.
That's what kept me going in this job. Public service. Public servant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're a disciplinarian,
But there are sometimes you have some ridiculous requests from the customer. Yeah.
That's a part. When you're a public servant, you have to deal with all kinds of personalities, good, bad, indifferent. But you have to keep going, because you don't make people don't make themselves. It happens. So sometimes they're having a bad day, But looking at Ruseas now, these younger guys, what would you say to them? Because judging by you went to play football, you did your academics. What would you say to these younger players at Ruseas now, if you were to say something to them? What would you leave with them right now?
I'll tell them that, listen, most times the hurt that you get in life, or the setbacks or the downfalls, are not always your fault.
Yes.
So you must know that it's your responsibility to overcome those, to persevere, to recover from what hurt it is, persevere from what struggle it is.
Yes.
It's your responsibility, even though it's not your fault that it's happening to you.
Yes.
That's what I would tell you.
You know, talking to you, Dennis, you have so much insight in so many things, that the way you speak, you're very relaxed, and
Because
you say what's, yes. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
My philosophy in life, is that it's not where you stand in life that counts, it's where you move on to.
Ah, very interesting. Very interesting. So you're a philosopher. No,
Not really, but I do.
By talking to you, like I was saying before, by talking to you, you're very relaxed in your way you speak, and it tells me that the perseverance that by being you persevered so much, that it becomes a part of you now. You're a natural. You're strong. You embody patience. You're relaxed, and I guess maybe because you have your child there who's doing very great. You're a disciplinarian, and you're successful in your footballing career. Now you are doing your job, and you're a very successful public servant. So you have a lot to be thankful for. Things could have gone either way, but you are here now. So if you want to say, like, you remember some of those players you played with, you want to give a shout out to them?
Yes, man. Socrates Christie, even though he's a Opal man, I see him on a few occasions, but
yes.
Big up Socrates Christie, Randy Campbell, big up yourself. God Palmer, I haven't seen you in years. There are some other guys that didn't make the Ruseas team, who haven't played for Ruseas, but I know they are brilliant footballers. Gregory Stennett, big up yourself.
Yes.
Back to the Ruseas team. You have Kevin Graham, who I haven't seen for some years, Steve Edwards, Sterling, Christopher Harris, Alma McFarlane, Andrew O'Connor. To me, a few, there's so much I haven't seen in a long time. Brian Hill, big up yourself. Alco, my condolence, yes, sir.
Yes. So sad of his sister's untimely passing. We want to say, let's just have a moment of silence just in respect of Alco and his passing, his sister that passed, Sandra. And after that, we could just wrap it up. Let's just, maybe 30 seconds and then we wrap it up.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, now I will leave you with the final word. Your grandmother is watching you right now. You have a family. You're a family man. You're a disciplinarian. And you exemplify. Was there any teacher that that looked out for you while you were at Ruseas?
God bless her soul, Miss Sterling. I think her name is Miss Sterling. She was my science teacher, a very good teacher.
Yes.
And Mr. Hamilton, a really good man also. God bless his soul. Those are two people who had passed. Mr. Campbell, a third person who had passed.
Yes.
There's Miss Kelly.
Yes.
Who had principal at school for some time.
Yes.
Those are some of the teachers that I can remember often who are really great people.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Edwards.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes. All right.
Edwards.
Ladies and gentlemen,
sir,
this is the Ruseas Empowerment Hour. We have with us here Mr. Dennis Jumpp. He's a public servant. He has been through the ranks. He's a perseverer. He's a family man, and he has done it all. And I'm sure you will hear about him. For the persons of Sandy Bay, you will see him if you go to the post office, because he does what he does best. He keeps everything in order. Thank you for being with us today, Mr. Dennis Jumpp. We appreciate you being here, and we look forward to speaking with you again very soon. This is Darwin saying thank you for watching Ruseas Live Empowerment Hour. See you next time.
All right, thanks, and appreciate you having me. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks much.